Hey, what's up? It's Miguel, and today we're going to talk about chaos and the importance of getting over chaos, right? So if you're learning web development for the first time, everything obviously is just a jumble of things. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And if you don't know me, I'm Miguel. I'm a web developer. I teach web development to people all around the world because I believe it's one of the best ways for you to achieve personal and financial freedom in your life. So in this video, we're going to talk about chaos, and I'm going to give you an example of the first time I actually had a boxing sparring fight with another person who had more experience than me. It was complete chaos, I can tell you that. I did not know where the punches were coming from. I got a bit of a concussion actually from the experience, because the guy actually went pretty hard. He knew I was a newbie, right? So he went a bit harder than he should have. Definitely a learning experience. So thoughts were running through my mind of all of the different movements that I was doing throughout that sparring fight, right, for a week. So it was a very intense experience that allowed me also to rethink the experience and think about it over and over again to basically improve and in a way to visualize sort of the experience so that I could like find answers for the future, right? So what I want to sort of start with is to talk about the concept of adapting to chaos. As a kid, as a child, everything's chaos, everything's completely new, right? But you're able to learn language just through basically recognizing patterns. That's what your brain does, right? Your brain is a pattern recognition machine, right? So you basically start to perceive the world and put it together, sort of put the puzzle together piece by piece, and you come out literally with a finished puzzle if you give your brain enough time, basically, of exposure to the problem to be able to create that puzzle, right? To be able to create that image. And it happens with language, and it happens with any other thing. Actually, programming is very close to language, right? So when you're studying web development, you're going to have sort of that experience at the start as well, where you literally don't know anything about anything, right? But as you go along, you start creating sort of that pattern recognition. The pattern recognition mechanism starts to kick in, and you start adapting to the language, and you start understanding it, right? So even when you read code after you've written for maybe a few months, you start understanding the code, and you start actually you start internalizing it, we can say, right? And it's not a conscious process. It's a very subconscious process, and that's just because our brains are made in that way, right? We're made to learn languages, and programming is very much like a language, right? And we're just made to basically bring order into chaos, right? And that's an important topic you have to understand, right? That in chaos, it doesn't mean that you're just not good at the thing. It just means you have to give your brain enough time to adapt to that thing and to create basically a map, we could say, of that thing. So your brain just needs time to create those new neural connections and to adapt to the skill, right? That's a lot how neural networks actually work when in programming, right? Where programmers are actually copying the brain in many ways, understanding how the brain works to create their own basically neural maps or neural networks on like digital neural networks, we could say, right? So that's, for example, how the YouTube algorithm works, right? It's a neural network that learns from experience and learns from exposure to a problem, and basically it just learns through trial and error, and that's how our brain works too, right? So you have to understand that you have to give your brain enough exposure to this trial and error so that it can adapt and find the answers. Some people will adapt faster than others, okay? Some people learn faster because this process of trial and error is just faster in their brains, right? For whatever reason, they just have more powerful brains, and that's just, we talked about that in the episode of talent. That's something you can't really change, but you can change how much time you put into a certain skill so that you give your brain enough exposure, enough time to make sense and basically recognize the patterns around a certain ability, like web development is, okay? So understand that you will need time to learn web development because your brain needs time to adapt to the new patterns, to the chaos, and the more problems you give your brain, right? So the more actual hands-on work you do in web development, the faster your brain will be able to adapt, because you'll be giving your brain more exposure to the problems that you will have to face as a web developer. Okay, so I hope this video helped you in some way, shape or form. Chaos is very important, okay? It's not something you should shy away from. It's something you should actually head towards, because if you adapt to chaos, then you will be better off, okay? So if you enjoyed this video, man, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And as I say every day, do it every day and you'll be okay. Ciao.